guys, Elena here, owner of Calypso Quilts. I'm just coming here today to share what I've been working on and show you some new things that we have in stock here. So just a little life update. I don't really have a whole lot. My son is leaving to go to, my oldest son is going to camp this week, so I have a little bit of a break. It's a camp out, I forget the name of the town, but they do archery, they do some kind of like a swim park kind of thing. They also do, what else did he tell me they do? Archery, oh, zip lining, that was the other thing he's really excited to be doing. He went last year and he had a lot of fun, so hopefully they'll have a good time again this year. I think they're in cabins, it's not primitive. They have cabins and they have like bathroom areas, and then they have like a kitchen area or like a big cafeteria, I think it more is. And so he'll have a lot of fun. My little one, sorry, my middle son is trying to come in. Nothing new with him. My youngest, my baby, she is almost 10 months. She'll be 10 months on the 18th, and she just started crawling. So life has gotten much more exciting with her. I'm constantly having to chase her down and tell her no, no, no. She's learning that word. But she is much calmer than my boys were. She'll just sit in my lap and just play, and the boys would never do that. Whenever I would try to sit them in my lap, they immediately want it down so they could see what they could go get into. So it's nice having a daughter finally. She is much more relaxed and calm, and she's a good baby. She finally started sleeping through the nights these last few nights. So it's nice having uninterrupted sleep for probably about 7 to 8 hours. So that is a big, huge milestone that we're finally sleeping through the night. And let's see, what else has been going on? Nothing really new in my life, just working a lot, like always. Well, anyway, let's just go ahead and get into it. So the biggest thing I've been working on lately is this quilt kit. Still working on, it's a table runner, it's applique. Let's see, make sure I don't have it upside down. This is the Flea Market Table Runner by Lori Holt, by Riley Blake. This is a very long process. Here's another, this is what, kind of a glare. So I wanted to do it the way that Lori Holt recommended, which is her applique method, where basically, I already glued them all down. But basically with these little orange slices, you take her sew it and interfacing, put them right sides together, sew around, cut a hole in the back and flip it inside out. And then I use this product. This is, I believe it's made by Roxanne, but glue based it to secure it in place, and then just sew along the outside by hand. So that is why it is taking so long. Got 6 more left to do still, almost there. If I had to do it all over again, I think I would use the double-sided interfacing and just glue it down with an iron and then just raw edge sew around it. It would be much quicker, but you know, it was a new learning experience for me, so I got to do hand applique, and I don't know if I'll ever do it again. It is a little, it is nice though, having something to work on by hand. so my daughter can play in the floor and I'll sit down there with her and just hand stitch it down. So it's nice to have something that I can work on, because when I'm on the sewing machine it's a little bit harder to, I can't play with her while I'm working on that or keep a good eye on her. I have to make sure my husband's home so that he can watch over her. I also brought out, this is the Tula Pink Sunrise kit. This is English paper piecing. I've got only one fully done. This is a very long process. If anyone's ever done English paper piecing, I know you know what I'm talking about. Here is, so on the pattern it recommends to do I did it the way she recommended on this one, to do the ring and then you put the centerpiece in. I found it a little difficult to do that, so I decided to do it this way. So I sewed on all of these triangles into the main piece. Now I'm just adding in the other triangles around it. And I used two different methods to do this. So I used kind of the traditional way where you, let me see if I can get a, so this is one I haven't started on. So kind of the traditional way I would say is to put it like this and then whip stitch. But the one problem with that is if you look closely, zoom in there, you can actually see the stitches. So lately I have been doing the flat back stitching. So basically you put it together and then you stitch along the back side. And if you can see here, you see no stitches. Whereas here, I mean, it's pretty subtle, but you can still see the stitches. So just compare invisible stitches to visible stitches. So I have been trying to do that a little bit more. It's harder though to do the flat back stitching. It's just more awkward. It's much easier to have it like this and just sew like this instead of having to keep it flat and then try to sew. So that's a little bit more time consuming, but I think it leaves a cleaner look though. But unless you really get up close, you're not going to notice it. And it is much easier to sew, like I sewed all these. That's why they want to fold down, is because I sewed them together like the traditional way to do the English paper piecing. So I've still got a lot more of these blocks, but it's a very long process to do English paper piecing. And so what else have I been working on? I guess that's really it. My plan, I would like, before the next 2 weeks, I really want to start working on this kit. This is Awesome Ocean. Very adorable sea critters. Seahorses and octopus and pufferfish, turtles, so many different cute little characters. So my goal is to start cutting this out. I'll probably try to get this iron out today. I love these rainbow colors, all the reds and yellows and browns, and of course my favorite, the blues and greens and teals. So many colors. And then the background is this denim material here. Yeah, you can see that there. I still have a couple of these left if anyone's interested in working on it. I'll show my project in a couple more weeks. So hopefully I'll at least have everything cut out. It's a lot of cutting. And the way she does it, so I haven't even read over the directions, but usually you have get like a Ziploc bag and then you put each of your cutting pieces for each one of the different animals and label it. So there's 3 different colors you'll make each one in. That looks right. Looks like just 3 for this one. So, and then also hope to, so I've been trying to, my goal is to do 1 of these a day, at least 1. Sometimes I get into, but it takes me, I would say, an hour to stitch 1 down. I don't know if that's normal or if I'm a little slow. It could be, I don't know. And so then I've got to sew all these little 2.5-inch square blocks on. So you just put them in the corners here. So I'm hoping to have that done also in the next 2 weeks. And so I thought I would share the quilt that I made for my daughter. I made this probably been a year ago because I was very pregnant with her when I was making it, and it was hard to get down on the floor and try to piece this together when you're, it's probably 8 months pregnant, I would say. So this was fabric by Abby Rose. I really like this fabric, the big, I forget what they call the roses, but it's a pinwheel shape, but not like the traditional pinwheel. It was a lot easier. You didn't have so many points to match up, so that was nice. Just this one point in the middle was the main one. And then I put lots of borders. I backed it in Minky. You can see also quilted it on the machine myself. And the machine quilting shows up good on the backing where I just did a simple meander. I didn't get crazy with anything. Hopefully I'll start getting better at quilting. So it is much bigger than the traditional crib size quilt. I can't remember the exact measurements. I kind of did my own thing with the borders and all this, so. And 4 across. So it's a pretty large quilt for a baby quilt, but I figured as she gets older, she can enjoy it. The one thing about the binding, I wanted to machine bind it. I figured machine binding, I would get a more secure with a little one using this. I wanted it to be more secure than I felt the hand stitching would. So I made the mistake with machine binding. You should sew it onto the, think about this. You sew it onto the back first. That way you can visualize what you're doing along the front. Well, I made this mistake of doing it the traditional way of your hand bind or stitching it by hand to sew it onto the front first. So then it made it much harder because you need to get into the stitching of the ditch kind of. So it was hard to do it along the back side because it was hard to see if I was actually getting stitching onto the back. There was, for the most part, I did okay. There was a couple places where I had to go back over, but so what I did was I pulled it over and then I pinned it in place. And for the most part, it looks pretty good though on the back. And then I just stitched in the ditch here with my walking foot. So it didn't turn out too bad, but lesson learned. If you want to do machine binding, then sew it onto the back first and then pull it over. And then you can do like a cute decorative stitch to stitch it down with. So let's see, what else was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, some new things I have in the shop. Just a couple things. So one of the things that I have was I got some more fat quarter bundles. These are the hand cut by Free Spirits. So I got some of those of the line work. And then also I thought these were really good to have. Also have, these are the 10-inch, also got the 5-inch. But so you got black and white. These are great for a background when you're piecing, or you want to do something different than just plain white or ivory. These are great to use. This is the Inkway. This is the, oh, I forget what it's called, the Fairy something. Sorry. Fairy Flakes, that's what it's called. So this is the white, which is paper, and the black is ink. So it's very subtle, it's tone on tone. So you can just barely, I didn't unwrap it, but you can just barely see like the heart and the birds. Sorry if you hear my baby crying. Another tone on tone with the black or ink. So those are nice little things to have. Let's see, soon I should have the her new colors coming in for just like the basic lines, the Dragon's Breath and Unicorn Poop. Gotta love that name. So those all have some fat quarter bundles and the charm packs and layer cakes and the jelly rolls. With the, sorry, my mind just went blank. So Tula has a couple new patterns coming out for her new line, the Daydreamer, and a lot of them use the new colors. There's 2 patterns that are going to use a back quarter bundle of the new colors, so I'm really excited about that. I'd like to make it, the new line is supposed to release, I want to say it's the Daydreamer is out in October, I believe, and that also uses a back quarter bundle for a lot of those patterns too. I think there's 2 that use maybe 3 that use the back quarter bundle. So that's exciting and something to look forward to. I thought I would talk to you a minute about my sewing machine. So when I originally started quilting, I was sewing on a Brother. It was just a pretty basic machine. I wasn't real happy with it. Like trying to quilt on it, I would get a lot of the kind of eyelashes where the back pulls away, and it just doesn't give me a very clean look, so I wasn't real happy with it. And when I saw the Tula Pink Bernina, I fell in love with that machine until I saw the price tag. I had no idea that sewing machines could cost that much money. So I had resigned myself to upgrading it. I was planning on just getting like a basic Juki, and so I had saved up money for that one. And by the point that I decided I wanted a new sewing machine, the Tula Pinks, they were hard to find until someone had posted on Facebook that one of the quilt shops, it was in Illinois, I can't remember the name of it, but they still had the Tula Pink Berninas. So I told my husband, I said, you know, this is our 3rd baby, haven't had a push present for any of them, so this could be like all 3 of the push presents. I'd actually never even heard of push present when I was pregnant with our first child. It wasn't until the second one that someone, I think my mom, told me about it. And I was like, you know, I'm really missing out. But so I was like, I would really like the sewing machine. This could be for all 3 of the babies. And plus I think I was 6 or 7 months pregnant, so you know how hormonal you are. And so he agreed to it, but he thought I was talking about the Juki sewing machine. And till I told him how much it cost, and he was like, what? Are you serious? I was like, well, right now they have 0% financing. He was like, you want to finance a sewing machine? I was like, well, it's 0%. It's not like that bad. You just got paid over, I think it was 3 years or something, 72 months. Is that right? Maybe it was 36 months. I can't remember. And so I finally talked him down, and so I got my tulip pink, my unicorn of sewing machines. So super happy with it. It's a great sewing machine. I have to say though, so I struggled a little bit with the Brother sewing machine, with more than just the quilting, the hand quilting. With the piecing, I thought the Bernina would solve all the problems. I thought that my piecing would come out, all my points would meet, everything would be perfect. Until I got on it and I realized that it still takes skill. But I have gotten much better. I don't know, the price tag, it's a lot. So I don't know if it's worth it. It is a great sewing machine though. It is a workhorse. I love my sewing machine, but I probably could have done just as well with the Juki. But it has lots of decorative stitching. It does embroidery, which I think I have used twice. But it's there, it's an option. It came with a bunch of the tulip pink designs. It's hard to say that it was worth it though, but I do love my sewing machine. And so I just got my new ruler foot, so I'm excited to try that out. I went and bought one yesterday. So I haven't done ruler work yet on the sewing machine. With the sewing machine, it has the stitch regulator, so that's mostly what I use. You unfortunately can't use the stitch regulator with the ruler foot, so I'm gonna have to try to work on my quilting skills and try to, you gotta try to move along the same speed, which with the stitch regulator you don't have to worry about that. But the stitch regulator is not perfect though. It still will skip stitches, and you still have to kind of try to be even with your movement. If you make like sudden jerkies, you'll be able to tell. But I mean, it's not like that big of a deal. I'll show one quilt, or table runner. This, grab it real quick. I need to get on my sewing machine, but I've been waiting to get the ruler foot because I've still got to quilt the borders. But it does do a pretty good job with the stitch regulator. Not sure if you can tell that, gone around each one here. And then I just outline each one. This is a good beginner quilt. I feel like if you want to try to do some free motion quilting on your sewing machine, it's not huge. It's long, but it's not very wide. Let me see, this is, I keep holding them upside down. This is the Pink Lemonade quilt kit by Jilly Finley of Jilly Studio. It's a Riley Blake kit. So it comes with everything you need except for the backing. But I'm still trying to figure out how I would like to stitch. So I've got all 5 of these done. There's 5 different. And this is just a panel, so it was pretty quick to put together. And it's a good way to learn, get some practice sewing borders, because there's 3 borders on here. So I've still got to quilt these triangles and then the 3 borders, and then I think that will be enough quilting. I might add some quilting in the white spaces, I'm not sure yet. I think I could probably get by with not. And I'm thinking for the triangles, I'm probably going to do like kind of like a flowery loop like that. And then for the border, I'd like to get some practice with serpentine lines, so one of the 3, I'll do that. Sorry, itch. For another one, I might try some ruler work with one of these. All I got for the ruler was just a straight edge ruler, because I figured that would be a good starting point for me. And then I'm thinking of doing some I like to do some of the curves or spirals on those, maybe kind of like a wave looking one, and do that. So I'm not sure. Then I still got to pick out one more for those two. But I figured that would give me some good practice getting some, doing some borders with some free motion quilting. So thank you for joining me, guys. If you have any questions, if there's anything more you want to see, just drop a comment below. Please subscribe and please like so that I can get some more thumbs up and some more followers. Thank you for chatting with me today. And if you have any questions, comments, I'd love to hear from you guys. So just drop me a line down below. And I hope to see you in a couple more weeks. All right, see you later, guys.